What do you want from me? What do you want from me? You're looking at a broken man. Who knows if this robe will ever come off? Who knows? Who knows what'll happen next, okay? I'm broken inside. I went from delusional to depressed so fast, I think I got whiplash from it. I don't know. Okay, I do have to put this ice cream in the freezer, though, before it melts. Hold on. Okay. So, you know what happened. We know what happened. The Jalen Ramsey trade happened. Let me take you through my morning, okay? So I get back from the gym. I'm getting ready to leave for work. And I get a text. It's a tweet. And almost as if God knew I was getting a text, I get the tweet notification. Is this recording? Please tell me this is recording. Okay, it is. This is how discombobulated I am. So yeah, I get a text, and as if God knew I was reading the text, I get the notification. Steelers trade for Jalen Ramsey. And my first thought was, why? Like, I knew that if Pittsburgh was trading for him or if Miami was trading him away, Miami was not going to be paying that contract. So I was like, okay, let's make the league's most expensive defense even more expensive. But then I thought about it. And I was like, why not? Put him at the 1, Slay at the 2, Joey at the 3, or however you want to mix and match those. Joey at the 1, Slay at the 2, Ramsey at the 3, Slay at the 1, Joey, like however you want to put it. That's a great addition to the secondary because it's not necessarily relying on him to be our 1. It's basically like we have 3 guys that could be a 1, but we'll just rotate it out, you know? I don't have to look at Cam Sutton's stupid fucking face anymore. That's because of his off-the-field bullshit that he shouldn't be in the league for, if you're curious why I got so heated right there. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's last dance this shit. You'll see it in my skit tomorrow. Yeah, we don't have like the chemistry or the necessarily likability that the Last Dance had or the story, but you just got all these old dudes trying to get a Super Bowl with like Aaron Rodgers, Cam Hayward, even TJ's kind of getting up there. Darius Slay, even though he has a Super Bowl. Jalen Ramsey, even though he has a Super Bowl. Minka, like all these guys. I'll get to it. All these guys. Let's get him a Super Bowl, you know? So I'm like, I'm starting to buy in. I'm like, you know what? I didn't care about this season, but now, if this is where we're going, hell yeah, I'm gonna care about the season. I'm gonna actively hope that there's a realistic chance that Rodgers can throw 35 touchdowns this year. I'm gonna hope DK can get back to prime 2021 version. I'm gonna hope Roman Wilson can show that he could have been a Rookie of the Year candidate last year. You know? And then I get another text. And again, as if God knew what I was getting, gave me the notification. And it said, Steelers trading Minka Fitzpatrick. And at first, I thought it was a separate deal. So I was like, whoa, what are we getting for Minka? What player? Because, you know, before today, Pittsburgh needed 2 things primarily. We needed a corner, and we needed a wide receiver too. So I'm like, we just got a corner. So are we trading Minka for a wide receiver too? Okay, maybe. No. It's for Jalen Ramsey. Now we're also getting Jonnu Smith, but we're also giving a higher draft pick and then getting a Man, you guys, they broke me. So, Jonnu, get ready to learn wide receiver too, buddy. Now, we did just extend Deshaun Elliott, who I'm a huge fan of. I think I would love it if Deshaun retires a Steeler. Would I loved it if Minka would retire a Steeler. But so now we again, you'll see this in my skit tomorrow. We entered today needing a wide receiver 2 and a corner, and we're leaving today needing a wide receiver 2 and a free safety. Now, there are some guys out there, like I've seen a lot of Steeler Nation pushing for Pittsburgh to go after Justin Simmons, which I wouldn't hate. He's 28, which is the same age as Minka. Actually, I think he's 29. He did have a bit of a fall off. But it just feels like meme and joke and like, you know, what I'm about to say aside, because you know what I'm going to say. It feels like we got too excited about going maybe 11-6 instead of 10-7. We're like, hold on, we got to pump the brakes on this bad boy, maybe 9-8, you know, because I just don't get it. Now I know Minka he had a rough season last year, which I don't even think he had a bad season, just a rough season. But also when half of our defense couldn't tackle and he's the last guy left standing, I think Minka was fine. I know he didn't have a lot of interceptions over the last couple of seasons, but it's just because people weren't throwing him the ball. But yeah, I went from like, yeah, let's compete for a Super Bowl, screw it, I'm all in, to now I'm just confused. Like, we know what Pittsburgh's doing next year for sure, because Minka, Jalen is on the last year of his deal of 20. We also gave him a raise, by the way, which is crazy. $26 million. Rodgers is on the last year of this deal. And, like, we have a lot of expiring contracts. If I had to guess, this is probably Cam Hayward's last year as well. So we're going to have a lot of space next year. So TJ Watt rumors aside, we'll talk about that later, but we'll have space to sign him. So with a lot of cap and not having a quarterback next year, we know Pittsburgh's going to draft a quarterback in the first round. I know Pittsburgh's probably going to have like somewhere between the 15th and the 24th pick in the draft, but Pittsburgh will be trading up. We have, 4 or 5 third-round picks next year and additional fourths as well, just all the compensatory picks and the picks that we've acquired via trades. Like, Pittsburgh has a lot of capital in this year's draft class, so I'm not saying they're only going to trade this year. If I had to guess, if Pittsburgh sees a guy like Drew Allar, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to say his name, Allar, the kid from Penn State, and they, like, fall in love with him, or if Archie does declare and Pittsburgh's in love with him, Pittsburgh will be trading a first from the 2027 draft. So, like, it's just the third-rounders and additional or, you know, extra seasoning on that on top of it. So, Pittsburgh will be drafting a quarterback, sorry. But now we've put ourselves in a situation where now we have to draft a safety. And also, if Roman Wilson doesn't pan out, a wide receiver too. And I'm not even talking about the fact that why do we have 30 tight ends on this team? Because Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens crashed out on this team for not getting touches. Pat Freiermuth deserves to crash out because at every opportunity Pittsburgh has had to actually like utilize this man's talent, and we saw it in his rookie season and his second year. Like the year we had with Ben was probably the best use of Pat that we had, and Pittsburgh extended him because they saw that. But we refused to use the dude. And here's my thing: you traded for a tight end who plays like Pat. Pat is not known for his run blocking, nor is he known for his pass blocking. He is known as a vertical and a possession threat. That's what Jonnu Smith is. So, also, did we forget that we have, talking about people who have like justifiable reasons to crash out, freaking Mount Washington, Darnell Washington deserves to crash out too because third round pick used on him, and we're just not going to use him. Like I think he has one target in the red zone, I'm pretty sure, or maybe that was just last year. But Omar Khan's first 2 years, I was like, dude, I'm all in, and now I don't know. This just doesn't feel, and like it's a good thing, I guess, because we've been asking for it as a fan base. This doesn't feel like, well, Omar Khan's moves never felt like the Steelers either. So it's not that this doesn't feel like a Steelers move. This doesn't feel like a Khan move. Because every time Khan did something, I was like, I see it. Khan's the same dude that flipped fucking Chase Claypool for a second rounder. You know, like I've trusted Khan, and everything that he has done has eventually worked itself out, which is why I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic about this. But I just don't know. I don't know. Are we running 3 tight end sets with DK Metcalf because we don't have a wide receiver too? Like, we're really going to depend on Roman Wilson coming off of an injury and Bobby Trees to be our wide receiver too. Calvin Austin, I don't count him as a wide receiver too because he's our slot guy. He'll always be in a slot position. So I don't know, man. And also talking about like the schedule for this year, we play Miami, and as spiteful as I want to be, like I've said multiple times, I think it'd be so fucking, even though I'm a Steelers fan, it would be so vindicating week 1 if Justin Fields goes out and throws for 303 against our overpaid defense, not overpaid because we are overpaid, but our extremely expensive defense, and Rodgers shits the bed. And it's like, see, this is why we should have kept Fields, even though rumors came out that Fields was Pittsburgh's #1 guy. I really don't believe that. I think Pittsburgh leaked that just so fans would shut the fuck up about that. But I would love that. And then same thing, I would love to see Minka have a fucking career day against Pittsburgh when we play Miami later this year. Because I don't think Minka was the main problem on defense. I think he was one of the actually like few pieces holding it together. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of interceptions. Minka was so splashy his first 2 seasons because he was like, people hadn't seen that yet. He was still young. He had success with Miami. But when he comes to a system, people don't expect you to gel that fast. Minka's that player where he doesn't require a system to work. He is a player who fits into any system. So when he came over to Pittsburgh and had 4 or 6 interceptions his first year, it was like, oh, okay, that was a guy I'm not going to throw at anymore, because people were willing to test him. And then once people saw what he does when you do test him, they're like, I'm not doing that anymore. And so people just refuse to throw at Minka now, which is very smart. But then it gives Steelers fans and just fans in general alike like this idea that Minka doesn't do anything. But it's like, no, you're not seeing him because teams are like, there's Minka, I'm looking the complete other way. And yeah. So, and you have also you could argue that like Minka's been one of our best tacklers because we have so many players getting through the second level of our defense that we're relying on Minka to tackle too. I know Cleveland Browns fan just had an aneurysm because Minka was involved in the play and that Nick Chubb got hurt in, and people think he's dirty. It was just a football play. They're like, you can't tackle. But I don't know, man. It really was just so much whiplash. I was like, cool, we're going all in. And I'm like, are we? What are we going all in on? 9-8. And like I was telling some of my friends this morning too, I was like, this could be perfect. If we go all in, we win the Super Bowl, it's perfect time for Tomlin to walk away from Pittsburgh as well. Not necessarily football, but the Steelers. And we just bring in a brand new everything, like just everything new. Our O-line is young. Our offense in general is relatively young, aside from DK Metcalf. Our defense will be getting younger, aside from TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, and now that we've got Minka gone. But like this is going to be a very young team in 2 years. So it's like maybe it's time for just a complete overhaul of everything. And if you win a Super Bowl, or even if you just get to a conference championship, then it's perfect. But now it looks like Pittsburgh, this morning, within minutes, it went from thinking Pittsburgh could win a Super Bowl, and they were doing all this to win a Super Bowl, to it feels like they're doing all this to win a playoff game, which, like, hey, if this was 2017, this team would be deep in the playoffs. But I don't know what that was. I'm really hoping it was just a door. But yeah, so I don't know. These are my pretty quick thoughts. I still have to film the skit and everything. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, as you guys can hear as well. I'm just tired. I've said that in like the last 3 or 4 Steelers videos, and it's true. I every year I've had something to look forward to, and now I'm looking at an active geriatric facility or retirement home, hoping that they can all stay healthy for the entirety of the season. Like, I don't know. I also really feel bad for Beanie Bishop and Corey Trice. Corey Trice really, he was injured, and he got injured again, so there's an injury proneness there, so I kind of understand the need to possibly replace him. Beanie Bishop was dealt a really shit hand as well. He had a phenomenal first half of last season, and then Pittsburgh decided to start Cam Sutton for whatever fucking reason. And every time Cam was in, that's when the defense was falling apart. it's not a coincidence in my eyes. I mean, yeah, we were playing some of the best teams in football, but it's not a coincidence in my eyes that our defense fell apart the same time that Cam Sutton was implemented into the defense and they eased Beanie Bishop out. And now Beanie is essentially nothing unless they're going to move him to safety or make him the slot guy or move like Jalen Ramsey to safety or something. Like I maybe they're moving Joey Porter to safety. I don't know. So yeah, I feel bad for Beanie Bishop because Beanie had a phenomenal rookie year and then he didn't get to complete it, even though I felt like he earned it. So yeah, that's where we're at as a Steeler fandom right now. I just wasn't the trade I was expecting. I wasn't even expecting a trade. If you would have told me a couple of weeks ago that we would be trading Minka, I would have thought we would have gotten like a wide receiver 2 to complement DK or a first-round pick to hopefully trade up in the draft or something. I don't know if he is worth a first-round pick, but I'm just saying that's what I would have hoped for. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. This isn't even tired because I'm recovering from being sick. This is tired emotionally. Man, how are you going to complain? You guys have been over 500 for the last so many seasons. Because it's exhausting. At least when you lose and have a losing season, have a high draft pick, you have a little bit of hope that high draft pick is going to meet expectations. When you're constantly drafting in the 15th pick and the 20th pick, you're like, yeah, it's a mid-round guy. You're just stuck in limbo. There's not really many other teams that have to deal with this. That's why we get so frustrated with it. So, yeah, 9-8 season loading here. I made a bet with Armando, my buddy Armando, who's a Panthers fan, because I was like, we're still going to be better than the Panthers. He was like, willing to bet on that? I said, sure. So, at the end of the season, whichever team is better, the loser has to buy the winner a jersey of their choice. So, which I don't know if I want a jersey at this point because of my jersey collection. We've got Justin Fields, Najee Harris, Troy Polamalu, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, James Conner. Like it's just bad luck. Zach too, So I want a TJ Watt jersey. Don't know if I want that anymore. Oh yeah, and there's the TJ Watt rumors. I don't think there's anything to that. I think teams were actively calling after today happened to see if there was a possibility for him to be signed. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to get rid of him. Like I said, we have more cap space going into next year. It also just really doesn't make sense for Pittsburgh to trade TJ. If they do, you guys, if Pittsburgh brings in Aaron Rodgers and then sends out TJ Watt in the same offseason, I don't know if I could watch a Steelers game next year. Because that's the most moronic, stupid shit I've ever heard in my life. TJ was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year while being hurt. And, I don't think Pittsburgh's trading him unless a team is going to offer us 30 first-round picks. It's not going to happen. So I will settle your guys' fears on that. Curious your guys' thoughts, though. If any other trades happen this offseason, we'll obviously talk about them, but some Steelers fans, it's kind of priority for me. Voice is fried. I got to go film a skit. And, yeah, man. What an offseason. This is not what I was hoping for when I was saying I hope the Steelers do more, but this is what I get, apparently. So, curious your guys' thoughts on everything, whether it's how it impacts Miami, Pittsburgh, or just the league in general, or even just the players, if you think they're going to be better or worse. Yeah. I know I didn't really talk about the Miami implications of this, but it's because I'm a Steelers fan and I'm tied to the hip with this team, and both emotionally and physically. Not really physically, but yeah. So curious your guys' thoughts, especially if you're a Miami fan. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. But yeah, you guys know how we end these.